de-swapped Integra. Let's go ahead and get started with this video. God bless you and welcome to Texas Honda Channel. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button. So we have the de-swapped Integra, and before you guys start getting in the comments and say it should have been a B series or you should have K-swapped it, we have a reason for this. My brother got this car in Kansas, and it's hard to find B and K swaps in Kansas, at least for us on the low to keep it cheap. And he ended up getting this one in trade for some K-series parts, and he got the full swap. It's a Z6 with Viterra, and it's definitely not going to be no slouch, that's for sure. So let me show you what we're going to be putting on it. We've got Jack Spania's turbo manifold, which will be linked in the description, along with the 44mm Jack Spania wastegate and Jack Spania's turbo with the turbo guard. So this is all going to be going in. The reason my brother got this car for cheap in Kansas was because it was wrecked. You can kind of see it right here. This car actually used to be on this channel years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And I'll put a picture right there on screen so you guys can see. That's what it used to be. And it's changed a lot because, well, first off, we painted it, and he did the engine bay. My brother AJ did that, and it was wrecked. So he had to get a core support, because this is Eddie's car now. He got a core support for it from PLM, which will also be linked in the description. It is a drop-in unit. Now the only issue that it has right here, it's messed up, so he needs to actually put a little piece of metal and weld it in on both sides, and then it is a full bolt-in. But we will get it all bolted up, mocked up, and all of that just to show you how it looks. But yeah, definitely going to be a nice setup. It has a fuel cell. This used to be all-wheel drive B series, I believe, all-wheel drive B series, and he's going to be trying to go all-wheel drive with this. At least that's the plan. We'll see exactly what happens.
I already have the rear
the diff?
Yeah, the rear diff already.
Okay.
So now I just need the actual spindles and brackets.
Awesome.
And then we can do the tranny, which I'm thinking about doing a plate to use a B series all-wheel drive.
Okay, so the D to B conversion.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So B series trans, all-wheel drive. This thing is going to be absolutely awesome. I know a lot of people are going to say, but it shouldn't have a D series in it. It'll definitely be fun. This car is super light. This was actually a car that was at the track a lot. It's actually pretty nice. Never fully gave a walkthrough on this one, I don't think. But it's a de-swapped Integra, 99 or 2000, something like that. And he's got Hondata being worked on by AGN Tuning right now to go in it. And we're going to be throwing all of this stuff on. So, I just wanted to give you just a little background on this real quick. And here is the fuel cell in the back. All of the fittings and everything's been ran to the front. I'll show you underneath real quick. And you can see underneath, under there, you can see it already has the tunnel. The diff was already back here at one point. It's ready to go. So if you guys can see that, there's the Jack Spania fuel pump right there that is running directly from the fuel cell. So now that we got all that out of the way, I wanted to show you this is the bullboost fuel pressure regulator and how he has it set up. We're going to see how this works. If this doesn't work, we'll definitely redo the fuel setup, but it should work. We've got the line from the tank running through the bullboost filter and the bullboost fuel pressure regulator to the bullboost rail. The information for that will be in the description with a discount code if you guys want to get yourself one. But the rest of the products on here are Jack Spania's products. Also really nice quality for sure. So we're going to go ahead and get this header off of here and get the rest of the stuff on there. He wanted to let you guys know that that is not permanent. That was just for mock-up.
No, that's just mock-up.
He's got a bracket that will actually be going around that fuel filter. So don't worry, the zip tie is not going to stay there. So we're going to go ahead and get you on the tripod, get all this stuff set up in there, see how it looks. But before too long, this thing will be running and driving, because the only thing you have left is the Hondata from Eric, right?
Yeah, the Hondata, and after that, I can start throwing fuel in there.
Awesome. And the clutches is already in here. It's like a stage 2 or 3. I can't remember what my brother said, but it's a brand new clutch, and this is the short gear SI transmission, so it's a really good setup for sure. And he's got all the other stuff like the Speed Factory.
Oh, yeah, I got the Speed Factory, the 4-bar, and I got the TPS as well.
Right, so he's got some stuff in it, and
yeah,
definitely going to be more, of course.
Yeah, I'm making sure that everything is good right off the bat, so I don't have to worry about anything.
Yep, brand new distributor as well, and
those plugs,
water pump, timing belt, like literally everything's been gone through, so it's going to be a pretty good setup for sure. But we're going to go ahead and get you on the tripod and get all this stuff put on there. We are going to be using the metal OEM style gasket. That's just what I like to use with boost. I don't have problems with that on the turbo manifold, so that's what we're going to be using. And look at this, really nice quality. So the turbo that's going on here is a little bit big for a D series, but it's better than no turbo, so that's the turbo we're going with. Huge shout out to Jack Spania for providing these parts. He really wanted to see this D series tech going, and if you guys have any questions or comments, leave them in the description. Just know if they're hate comments, I really don't care. This is going to be a really awesome setup regardless, and you don't have to drive it, so no worries, right? So we're going to go ahead and get these tightened. Now, when installing these studs on the turbo manifolds, I highly recommend a red Loctite. It'll be your strongest Loctite. Highly recommend it. Now, there are other people who like to do different methods for their flange bolts, but this works fine for us. And as you can see, brand new gasket. Also, the turbo housing is going to be really close to touching this. We are actually going to be notching it or getting a spacer, one of the two, that'll space it up, and it'll actually pull it away a little bit. So just keep that in mind. It will not be touching it when the thing is running, but it's going to be pretty close. And here it is. Okay, so here it is with the turbo and manifold installed. Now this is the clearance. Someone actually mentioned that in a previous video that it would have clearance issues. Very, very tight clearance there. Now we are going to notch it just a little bit on that bracket, which will give it a little more clearance, and we can space it, which will also help. Or we could header wrap these or ceramic coat these. It's up to him what he wants to do on this build.
Yeah, no, I'm going the ceramic coat. Pretty much literally everything.
Awesome.
From of course, the manifold, turbo, and the wastegate. And of course the exhaust once I actually get it custom made.
Awesome. So, yeah, he's definitely going to ceramic coat all this stuff. I had a feeling you might say that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because that's going to be a lot of heat in one spot.
Right.
And I'm going to wrap what I can. That way, literally just push all the heat in one place so it's not going everywhere.
Also, with this exhaust setup, it will be a street car and it will have full exhaust, but this will be ran down through here, and the wastegate will probably turn a little bit like that and ran in. Hopefully not too big of a bend here because we do want it to flow good still, but it should be perfectly fine. And if you guys didn't know, this is a 0.82 turbo housing. I mean, this thing is a huge turbo for a D series, but it'll definitely be fun regardless. So we're going to definitely get all that done at an exhaust shop, have them just mock all that up because, you know, we don't have a pipe bender and all those other things that are needed for that particular stuff. But yeah, it's looking really good. Look at that thing. So beautiful. So we're going to go ahead and get the PLM core support on there too. By the way, this thing is super light. Alright, as you can see, this thing bolts up there really nice, except for these spots that, you know, because it was wrecked. If it hadn't been wrecked, they'd bolt right in to the factory bolt hole location. Plus it has a spot for your headlights and the front bumper, all of that stuff. And pretty good clearance with this whole turbo setup. Very nice. So now we're going to go ahead and get the bumper on and see what this thing looks like all together. Alright, so as you can see, it looks really nice. Now these holes will line up once we have all the push pin things going in there where they should be. But yeah, it's not like a perfect fitment, only because the metal that needs to be down through here to push up on this to kind of straighten it. But yeah, it definitely looks a lot better now that it has a front end. Right now he's just got the zip ties just for mocking it up. But yeah, it's going to look really, really nice. And I'm already positive people are going to hate this setup. But I love D series.
How can you hate the turbo? Look at it. Come
Right?
on.
It's turbo.
Look at it.
Now I could understand if it was like an NA, just an intake and exhaust setup.
Yeah.
I get that. But it's going to be turboed. That makes up for it, I think.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. And it's a Z6, not like we threw a Y7 or a Y8 in or something,
right.
you know?
And it's built.
Right. Built makes a big difference. Definitely nice.
You know, with the whole fuel setup the way it is, it's just a nice, good-looking bay.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Let's show them this real quick. That's the diff for the all-wheel drive. So he's serious about doing the all-wheel drive. It's gonna be awesome.
Ain't no shortcuts with this. I'm gonna make sure this thing is gonna be ripping up pretty well.
Yeah, and he also took the RSX to the track, by the way. I forgot to post videos of that for you guys, so I'm gonna post a few here for you guys. I know that's not Integra, related, but keep in mind that car did not have slicks. It spun a lot, and he was still getting the feel for it.
No traction at all.
There was no traction, and he was still getting the feel for the car at the track. So don't hate. Yeah.
Like, seriously. I like how it shines as well now, too.
Me too. It looks so nice. It was really dirty. We had to shine it up a little bit for you guys because it sat outside.
Been busy working on it and we're worried about how it looked at the time.
Right. And if you're wondering why we're in the paint booth, I actually sold it to him, and he's been using it as a makeshift garage since he doesn't have one here, and he loves it. I mean, it kept him out of the rain yesterday. There was a
while
big
I was doing
storm.
all the wiring and everything.
Yeah. And here's actually a little video clip of him doing the wiring. He went through and redid all the headlight wiring and all that stuff and made it look really, really nice. It's just such a professional look under those fenders. But now everything works, like the headlights and stuff, because this had the ITR front end, the Integra Type R front end, and my brother actually traded that front end because it was really badly destroyed. Yeah, it would have been cool to rebuild and fix and put back on here, but he went with the USDM front end. And I don't know, I like these bug eye headlights, I think they look cool. Now, don't get me wrong, the Integra Type R front end was nice, but it was pretty badly damaged from the wreck, so that's why he just went ahead and traded it straight over for one of these front ends. And I like it. It looks really, really good under here for sure. And that bull boost purple fuel rail just looks so nice with that bay color. And he's going to paint this the same color as the bay, so that way it all kind of just flows and matches. And again, the fitment right here is not how it's going to be finalized. He still has to do intercooler. We have to get that scope 2 radiator in. And
I have to do the fabricating as well. Put another bracket in for the radiator. And of course, I got to make room for the intercooler too.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I got to build a bracket for that too.
Yeah, that's the easy stuff. He is going to be getting a traction bar most likely for this particular setup. We'll actually link the one in the description that he's going to go with. And there should be a discount code with it too. But that'll help with traction at the track, because he will be taking this to the track. It will be a street/strip car, so it will be street driven a lot. You'll probably see this thing out ripping all the time. But yeah, it's definitely going to be really awesome. And of course, we'll have more updates as it progresses, because we still have to get it, oil lines going, the oil return. There's quite a few little things left, but it will be going as soon as possible. And I will definitely keep you guys updated, and we'll have driving videos with it, all that good stuff. And I bet you he's really excited to drive it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm ready, man. I love the D series motors.
Me too. I think they're awesome. They're underrated.
Underrated.
Yeah. Like a lot of people, they just like toss them away. That's the best part about a D series, is you'll be able to find these D series anywhere. So like, except for Kansas apparently.
Yeah.
But this is what he could find, my brother. But yeah, the D series out in the junkyard, there's tons of them. They're always out there. It's usually because the cars were wrecked, and the D series is still good in them. There's actually one out there with a competition clutch in it. I thought about grabbing that out of there. But yeah, it's a dime a dozen. You can find them almost anywhere, and they're really cheap and easy to build. Now, a lot of people throw the argument up that the D series is not worth building, but these are actually cheaper to build than just dropping a K-swap in this car. If you get forged rods and pistons and all that stuff and cams, I spent, I think it was $1,200 to $1,500 for a fully built D series. I built it myself, had the machine work done, and I was gonna run it, but ended up getting rid of that because we needed to pay bills and all that stuff. But it was a fully built from top to bottom, had the springs, retainers, the cam, like everything, and $1,500 for fully built. So it would have been a monster, but yeah, that's not too bad to build, especially if you do it piece by piece and save up a little bit here and a little bit there. To do a K-Series, I've done plenty of K-Series swaps, so I know how much they cost. They're upwards of $2,000. So that's going with the cheapest of the cheapest parts. And the parts that were in my D-Series, I had the Street Savage race cam, the BC, or the Brian Cryer springs retainer, stuff like that. And yeah, so this is definitely gonna be a really good setup, and I just cannot wait to hear it ripping. We did get it to test fire up. I'll actually put a little video clip of that right here for you guys. So you guys can see it actually did run. That was just starting it with starter fluid. We were just trying to get everything, make sure the wiring, the ECU and stuff like that was working. Found out it needed a new ignition switch and some stuff. But yeah, that's basically it for the D-swapped Integra so far. There will be more videos as the thing progresses, so definitely want to stay tuned. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and hit the like button if you like the fact that there's a D-Series and an Integra. And for the people who didn't know, they actually came with D-Series in them in Japan. Some of them did, at least. So definitely want to check that information out. I'll try to find something and leave it in the description for you guys. But definitely a really nice setup, and this car is super light, so it should be really, really fun. You can ask him. He was pushing it and he just barely put his hand on it and the car just started going. So yeah, it's definitely going to be pretty good with the D-Series in it. These do weigh a little bit less than the B-Series engine and trans, so maybe that's why it's so light. I don't know, because it still has interior except for the rear parts where the fuel cell is. So
Yeah.
and also racing seats. Yeah. So he got racing seats. So
which I already got the brackets for as well. So
those will be going in eventually.
Yeah, just hasn't been a priority.
Right.
Oh, this is a priority.
Yeah, and it looks beautiful under here now. It's crazy.
Now that I got all the lights working and everything, like probably by next week I might have this running on the road already. That'd
be awesome. So yeah, if you guys have any questions on how we got the D-Series, or how my brother, I should say, got the D-Series in here, let us know in the comments. It's real simple. I'll tell you now so you don't have to ask, but those are D or B series solid mounts. They fit right in here. With the Z6 specifically, I had to have this 3-post mount, which I actually had those solid mounts sitting in my shed, so that helped this build go a little bit quicker. I just had them sitting in there when my brother got down here from Kansas. We just swapped them in. And the linkage and all that stuff, you may have to drill 2 extra holes, depending on how yours is set up, but it's really simple. But yeah, that's basically it. I'm gonna go ahead and get off here, but before I do, I'm just gonna roll my outro as usual. So here it is. Before I get off here, I wanted to mention there will be a free Gideon Bible download in the description for Apple or Android. Everyone should know the Word of God, what Jesus came to do. He came to save the sinner and set the captive free. He died for you and me, went up to that cross, died and defeated death, 3 days later rose from the grave, and now has the keys to death. Anyone who believes in his finished work at the cross will be saved. If you have addiction or bondage or anything that is holding you down, or you don't feel loved, God says he loves you, so much so that he gave his only begotten son. And we are saved by grace through faith, lest any man should boast. So it's not of our works, it's of our faith in Jesus and what he did. So I just wanted to let you guys know the good news, that everyone has a chance. So repent, turn from your sin, and trust in the Lord. But that is basically it for this video. And until next time, God bless, stay safe, stay awesome.